Welcome back. In this lesson we'll be looking at constructing melodic phrases in a little bit more detail, and also we'll be moving along one string through the different patterns that we've already learned. Here's what we're going to do. I'm on the 5th fret on the 1st string, and at the end of pattern 1 coming across this way, you recall our fingering is 1, 3, 4, which are frets 5, 7 and 8. Now if you want to move along the neck this way, essentially what you do is go from here and you add your first finger up to there. So we've gone from a 1, 3, 4 configuration to a 1, 2, 4 configuration. And if you want to move along a little further, we go to what I call the big stretch with the middle finger on frets 8, 10 and 12. One more time. Now you can practice doing that. I wouldn't go too fast though. I would start off at a moderate pace, move up, and try and change position smoothly at the speed that you begin the first pattern with. So if you're going at this speed, no hesitation when you change along the string. And coming back from here, you can go big stretch, bring your first finger back, and then go this way and drop your first finger back. Let's look at that again. I'll climb up. Coming back, I go frets 12, 10, 8, 7, 10, 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. Here we are again by itself. Let's quickly look at the 3 overall patterns that we've learned. Pattern 1. Coming back. I move my first finger up. Pattern 2. And moving along with my first finger. Pattern 3. Now, because you've learnt these patterns originally from the 6th string across the neck to the 1st, when you move along the 1st string like this, it often gets a little bit confusing when you try and come from the 1st string across to the 6th. In other words, your ability to recognize the pattern, in this case it would be pattern 3 coming across, is a little bit hard to do because you're used to knowing the pattern from the 6th string to the 1st. So when climbing up like this, practice coming across the scale and see if you can recognize pattern 2 on the way coming across this way from the 1st string to the 6th. And likewise, when you move up to this position, try coming across and see if you can recognize the shapes associated with pattern 3. That's actually a good point to mention, because sometimes when you're soloing, especially when you get a little bit more advanced, you can often go on some really nice, interesting melodic journeys along one string, and then suddenly find that when you try and come across, you don't recognize the scale pattern. So always try and memorize the patterns from not only the 6th to the 1st string, but from the 1st to the 6th string. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to look at the construction of melodic phrases in a little more depth. As you recall, we had chord notes and passing notes within the set of notes that we play on one string. And when we move along like this, same situation occurs again. And when we move here, we'll have chord notes and passing notes on each 3-note pattern on each string. Now, one of the things you can try and do is, instead of starting, say, on this note and just going up to there and working your way back, you'll find that whenever you have 3 notes on one string, you can often get 6-note combinations of those 3 notes. Now, if that sounds confusing, it won't if I demonstrate it to you. Here we have, starting on the 5th fret, I've got one combination by simply going fret 5, fret 7, fret 8. So we'll call that one pattern if you like. Now we can get another pattern by going 5, 8, 7. So we have this, and then this. There's 2 patterns that we've managed to get out of that set of 3 notes. Now, going on, instead of starting on the 5th fret, we can start on the 7th and go 7, 5, 8, or we can go 7, 8, 5. That'll bring us to a total of 4 patterns. One more time, we have this, and then we have this, and we have that. And finally, we have, starting from the 8th fret, 8, 5, 7, or 8, 7, 5. That brings us to a total of 6 combination of patterns. One more time. Now, the significance of all this is that when you're constructing a melodic phrase, because you have 6 patterns or combinations which could go to make up a phrase, there's really no need to move too quickly to another position. In other words, what you want to try and do is stay on one string for as long as you can and get from it as many nice little melodic phrases as is possible. And what you can do is you can recombine these combinations by doubling up some of these notes twice. In other words, if I go like that, I can hit the 8th fret again and come back. Or if I start on the 7th fret, I can do a pattern like 7, 5, 8, and then double up on any one of these notes and then change direction into another pattern. Now I'm going to demonstrate this with some backing so that you can hear how I can recombine everything. Now, as I pointed out, there are 6 different patterns on any given string with 3 notes. So when you move up, like I showed you earlier, you can do the same thing here. You've got I won't go through them, but you've got 6 combinations starting here. And if you wish, you can also, like we did previously down here, where we used that passing note on the adjacent string, we can add that note in just to give our melodic phrases a few more notes to play along with. Same down here. When we move up, we can use this note on the adjacent string there. If it was a passing note here, when we move down here, it'll become a chord note. And when we move up here and use the adjacent note on that string to add to our melodic phrases and our 6-note combinations on this string, this will be a passing note. And I'm just going to demonstrate what all this would sound like as I gradually move along creating melodic phrases.